crucial stage always calls for an extremely wise decision, reaching back to the basic inspirations while being able to intelligently identify the proper direction. This surely is a great challenge to the order. The situation and the challenge of the world keep changing. Croziers are supposed to be alert about it, to keep wary about the signs of the times, and to be able to define new meanings of the cross for new contexts. The community life of the order is forced to articulate the hidden longing of the times in new and fresh ways, while remaining faithful to the rule of Saint Augustine. They have to rethink the effectiveness and the relevance of their form of fraternal communion. The history has it that the 2003 General Chapter appealed to the order to return to the original spirit of Theodore the Cells, while being also alert to new signs of the times.
I think first of all it's important to note that from the very beginning, our first constitutions in 1248 place very centrally in the limelight, in the central position, that we live in priories, we live in communities. When we talk about priory, it might have an odd or foreign sounding expression to it, especially for some cultures that don't use the term priory. And we even recognize, and the canon law recognizes, that whatever term you call this, and we happen to have called it priory throughout our history, whatever term you call it, it is the central values, the component parts of what it is that makes a priory life. And so those three elements, our community, our fraternal life, our liturgy or praise of God in community, and our decision-making, the importance of gathering together and sharing the responsibility for how we live, those would be the constitutive elements that we are highlighting as significant for our life in priories. That's what is normative.
Pesan utama amanah dari kapitel Brasil itu bukan tentang priorat, tetapi tentang tiga nilai rohani, tiga butir rohani berikut. Yang pertama itu bahwa setiap anggota OSC itu diharapkan untuk sungguh nyata de facto hidup bersama gitu ya. Jadi actually living together, secara nyata hidup bersama. Nah, hidup bersamanya itu nggak terlalu dikonkretkan apakah dalam priorat atau dalam domus 3 orang atau dalam rektorat ya. Tapi jangan sampai terpecah, terselebrate, terisolir masing-masing sendiri ya. Living together begitu ya. Bukan dalam langsung direduksi, dijuruskan ke arah priorat. Nilai rohani yang kedua itu mulai memperhatikan dimensi kontemplatif dari kehidupan religius ya. Apa artinya menjadi seorang rohaniwan gitu. Lalu yang ketiga itu adalah bagaimana pekerjaan itu bisa disinergikan, diharmonikan dengan komunitas ya.
The Croziers seem to realize that without the involvement with those crucified in society, bearing the symbol of the cross would look ridiculous and absurd. Yet they are also aware that the virtue of the cross does not lie merely in the compassion toward the downtrodden, but rather especially in its redemptive power, that is, in its energy to revitalize, to resurrect or to transcend any forms of life in front of its contingency. This, admittedly, is a dilemma.
Allerbelangrijkste is dat men contact houdt met de mensen. Allerbelangrijkste. Dus de inculturatie, zoals dat in de jaren 80 werd genoemd. Hè. Je moet met de je moet gelovige zijn met de mensen. Een monnik tussen de mensen in.
Justru teman-teman yang menghayati misteri salib Tuhan pada zaman sekarang ini kan bisa membantu kita bersama-sama untuk setia kepada Yesus Kristus yang melaksanakan tugas-tugas perutusannya, dan itu memuncak kepada kesaksian sampai mati pada martiria. Nah, bagaimana menghayati spiritualitas martiria pada zaman sekarang ini bersama dengan mereka-mereka yang tersalibkan oleh zaman ini.
Cross of Christ is the way in which the Father extends his love to all of humankind, and especially to human nature. That the salvation that occurs on the cross is for all human beings. I think for us as Croziers, the primary existential turn is what is announced in our Jubilee motto of starting afresh from a place of light. We are primarily called to live our lives on behalf of others in witness of the love of God. There is not another new cross for our contemporary world. The cross that was involved in the redemption of the entire world in Jesus Christ is that cross which still has power and importance for all of us today. So when we tend to think of an existential turn to the poor and the oppressed and the weak as somehow or another, that's where the cross is today. I think that's a little bit of a reduction of the overwhelming love of God for the entire world in the cross of Jesus. And so when we are called back to our evangelical